Hello and welcome to Absolute Batman Discussion. I am Chris. With me today is my boy Ron. How you doing, Ron?
Doing good, man. Good to be finally back with you guys talking some absolute Batman. We broke the curse of not being available this month. So good stuff. I'm excited. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. So good things.
And also joining us is Chris Evans, the other Chris in our trio.
Hi.
What's up, Chris? How you
Not
feeling?
much. Absolutely excited to talk to you guys about this book.
Man, do we have a book to talk about? This is the introduction of Bane into Absolute Batman. We have Bruce Wayne on an absolute rampage. We have Alfred knowing that there's something up. And then we have Bane, who basically, in Tom Hardy voice, as his reckoning. uh, but it's much more serious than that. This is no Bane to mess with. So, first impressions, everybody. Ron, what did you think? We'll start with you.
For sure. We were coming off a pretty vicious issue with that fight between Freeze and Batman. And one thing that this book has done really well so far is continuing to up the ante each time. Mm-hmm. And they did so pretty well in this one. Bane wastes no time kind of showing what he's capable of, popping that guy's head like a grape. And we also, I liked that we're getting the more sophisticated, kind of eloquent Bane in this one, not just the grunt who's just, somebody's lapdog. I mean, he is still technically somebody's lapdog, but it's not in the, it's not Schumacher. You know what I mean? It's not Schumacher Bane. So I love that you mentioned Bruce being a lot more sort of aggressive. It's almost like that aggressiveness is growing with each issue. And it really, I don't want to say came to a head in this issue because I think there is still more to go, but we're really starting to ramp up there too. So all good things. We got some good reveals that we'll get into too in terms of Arc M. So loved it, man. I thought it was a great issue.
I co-sign everything Ron said. This issue is immaculate from start to finish. There's so much good in it, and it further pushes the envelope that this is a different Batman with a different world, but it's still very familiar. So it's easy to get into, and these takes are great takes. Mm-hmm. And it's just a really good book. And, like Ron says, good reveals. There's some really cool cameos, which I didn't even catch all of them at the start. I had to go back. So I'm very excited to get into it.
To me, this was the best issue of the entire series so far. I thought this was if I was going to say, hey, this is Absolute Batman, just start at issue 9 and then work yourself up after that, because this is what you're leading up to. This so far is the magnum opus. I mean, the coloring in this one I think really works. The green, absolutely. I thought the coloring in this book I noticed it so much. I thought the story was fantastic, and the paneling to me, it's intentional paneling, and I think comic books do this so well. I also like this Batman underwater look, where half of his mask is there. And I was like, Kelly Jones, and I've said that before, there is an absolute Batman spirit that is akin with Kelly Jones. I'm telling you, these ears were long in this episode. I loved everything about it. And I just thought that the shots you get of the pictures you get in this, the art is so well drawn and it just pops. Mm-hmm. And I just think it propels everything forward. It feels like watching a movie as you're reading this comic book. And I need the Absolute Batman run when it's like got a full couple runs in it. I need an animated film in this style of this Batman, because this is it's cinematic reading this book.
I'll take that now, actually. You could do the 2 Freeze issues as like an 80-minute movie, and I'll watch the crap out of that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Even down to like the little things, like when Bane finally does inject the venom at the end and he sort of like bulks up, like the way that his muscles like expand and stuff, it almost looks like blisters, like these giant muscular like blisters that somebody would get.
Gross.
Yeah, it's like it like burns his skin from the inside. Like it's a very again, Chris used the word intentional with the paneling. I would say it's a very intentional thing with the sort of style. It feels like a lot of thought went into the design of a lot of the art. Obviously in the whole book, but in this one in particular too.
That particular thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
His growing kind of has a tumorish look to it. Like it's like, and I think it's like a sickness, and it's so interesting. I love it. I love too. He says, "Juiced up, Brand. I haven't even used this stuff yet,
I love it.
but you want to see what it does." That was to me Bane's confidence in this issue, and we're going to get to the story, but Bane's confidence in this issue is awesome. I love it when he's like, "You can advance now." And I think a wiser Batman would have kind of retreated, fallen back, tried to get him use the elements around him, try to do something else. But this Batman is angry and is thinking about his friend, and is just on a mission, and he's blinded. And I think that was the entire point of Bane in this issue. He's running, looking for a fight with anybody he can find, and there's always somebody bigger, stronger, and faster.
Yeah, I think the title arc Abomination doesn't just apply to Bane, but in this issue, it looks like it is Bane. He's the Abomination, I think. And I also like that his transformation when he's juiced up reminds me a lot of the Batman animated series. Mm-hmm. That Bane is far from my favorite version, but when he gets juiced up, he's gigantic, kind of like this.
Yeah.
He also changes color for some reason. So I think maybe there was some inspiration there.
I loved the very beginning shot. The first look you get of Bane is these two regular people looking up at the elevator going, "Oh no." Mm-hmm. Like you just kind of see his head. But you could see like he towers over. So like I've always said the problem with Tom Hardy Bane is that Bane should tower over everybody. Mm-hmm. Bane shouldn't look like a real person. And this is exactly like if you like Nightfall Bane, if you like Arkham Origins Bane, you're getting that here. Like you're getting that here. It's very much in line with that. To me, this was the Bane from Arkham Origins, almost to a T.
I was going to tell you that exactly the voice that I read him in was the Arkham Origins Bane. Again, that more eloquent kind of not just crush. You know what I mean? Like there's some method, a little bit of method to the madness, even if it's only a little bit of method. There is one other thing that I've been noticing though, and I don't know if I'm just reading too much into this, but we talk about this look and the sort of blistery, almost like tumoresque, like sickly look that he takes on when he injects this venom. We have this weird permafrost disease thing that Freeze was dealing with.
Oh yeah.
We have this other weird like bacteria thing that they're sort of spreading across Gotham to sort of essentially wake up people's like metahuman abilities, like we saw with Croc in this one. There's a lot of like central through line on things based on like sickness and disease. And I don't know, Joker looks like the sickest, most diseased person you've ever met in the little glimpses we've gotten of him. So I don't know if that's an intentional, like symbolic thing, if it's all intentionally like more than symbolic, if it's like there is going to be some like maybe major like viral aspect at play to this. I'm not really sure. But it seems like a lot of references to disease, sickness, things like that. Could be nothing, but I wanted to at least mention it here because I noticed it.
I think you're onto something, and I also think it would be cool if Joker was kind of more of a metahuman in this one, because we always play that line of does he have some sort of super tolerance to pain, or does he have some sort of superpower that allows him to go toe-to-toe with Batman in ways that doesn't seem like it would be feasible? So I like where you're going with that, and I think that would be a really good take in a line of Batman where strong takes are really there to be had. I think you're really onto something there. And
maybe Arkham, not to cut you off, maybe Arkham is like this giant, like where they're essentially testing out all of these different diseases and chemicals and all these things, essentially just a giant experimentation. What do you want to call it? City? Because we did finally see a glimpse of it in this issue. And it was a city. So whatever you want to call it.
It was like an underworld. To me, I thought of it as an underworld.
Yeah, it's very different than what I was expecting. It's not just patient cells.
No, yeah.
And it kind of set us up for the patient cells from what we have seen.
I guess that's the top. The top is probably just patient cells. The bottom is this.
But it's a whole, like, we're talking like a city under the city sort of thing.
Reminds me of have you guys seen the first Resident Evil movie?
Oh yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like that.
For sure. The Hive. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Hive. There you go. It's like that.
Speaking of references, I thought of Ron when he pops his head open like a grape. I was like, that is so Game of Thrones. With the eyes popping out, I was like, that is so Game of Thrones. And I was like, I know who likes this issue.
I love the storyline of that bit, though. Like, because I think a lot of us maybe glossed over it the first time because you're so enamored with Bane. Like, oh my God, that's Bane and it's cool. But what he's doing is really fascinating. Because he's essentially starting a war that was about to be stopped. He's restarting it. He's relighting the match there. I just think that's cool because it shows you this is a different Bane. This isn't a Bane we've seen, but he's still familiar. And like you mentioned, Chris, his size helps with that. But what Snyder's doing is he's taking the intellectual Bane that I think a lot of us prefer. I don't like the hulking brute Bane. I like this Bane.
Yeah.
And I like the way he's utilizing that opening.
You said Snyder there, and I was like, oh, Scott, right?
Oh yeah, the other guy.
You're right though, Evans. You know, it's we assume that it's Joker who is the one that's like kind of pulling the strings on him, but he's obviously trusted to handle these very high profile sort of tactical things. It's not just Crush. It's not just Crush.
It makes me wonder if they're more associates instead of boss and thug, or however you want to call them.
Yeah. He's quoting an ancient king here. And he goes, peace, he said, is the pretty picture we draw over the ever warring stars. Beautiful, isn't it?
It's like a Vincent D'Onofrio tweet.
Yeah,
it really is. It's very Kingpin-like. And what I love about it is he goes, "You can use that in your speech. I have faith in you." And it was like, dude, that is so sinister. The guy, this little man, is just about to piss his pants if he hasn't done it already. And it's just like, and he's just like so casually just Bane. Like, he is who he is. This Bane doesn't give a fuck. I love it.
No. And it's going to be interesting to see, as tends to be the case when Batman and Bane link up for the first time in a story, whatever the given story is. Bruce got his ass handed to him pretty good here. Probably going to continue to get his ass handed to him here.
I hope so.
Yeah.
The entire point of the character is to break Batman. That was literally the intention was. The intention was. Oh, I would have another broken back scene. It's like crack for me. I love Nightfall. Okay. The entire point of Bane is to be Batman's superior. And it has to make Batman draw from a completely different source of inspiration to find a way to beat him. Batman can't deal with his from an intelligence standpoint because it's like playing chess with himself.
Mm-hmm.
He can't outduel him physically because he's bigger. Like, Bane is always supposed to be the answer to, well, he could beat anyone with prep time. Basically, in the 90s, people were saying, well, Batman isn't tough enough. We want a rough and tumble outlaw Batman. And so they make Jean-Paul Valley Batman, and they get Batman Bruce out of the picture with a broken back. And then you realize that you need Batman the way he is. And that's the entire point of Bane. Bane is a story-driven deconstruction of Batman.
And that's probably what we're going to see take place with this Bruce, because right now we're seeing a Bruce that's not thinking, that's reacting very emotionally, trying to use his brute and his physicality. I mean, there is these sort of I don't even, what would you call it, montage pages in this one, that's literally just him going through Gotham.
Eye of the Tiger's playing and everything.
Oh yeah.
Well, he's going after Croc. He's going after his buddy, Waylon, and he's just picking a fight with everyone, wondering if it gets to a lead because he doesn't even know where to punch. He's just punching until he finds Waylon. And last night he took down so many people. The hospital actually ran out of ambulances. Dude,
you know who's driving one of those bicycle ones?
I was wondering if you were going to get there. Dick Grayson. Yeah. I was like, God, I was wondering what point of the show, because I was like, we can just end the show talking about Dick Grayson.
He wasn't even the coolest cameo to me, but he was. That's
cool.
Cool.
I could have done a whole show on that little thing, because I'm like, Dick Grayson, we're getting freaking Robin. Probably not in here. He's probably not going to be Robin in here. But I was like, dude, I love me some Dick Grayson. So I'm very interested to see the take on Dick, because as Nightwing, Dick Grayson is kind of the guy who calls Batman on his shit, but he's like 100% loyal. Like Jason Todd just yells at him. Dick calls him on his shit and holds him account, but is 100% by his side. So that, so he can. But the problem is Alfred is kind of filling that role of this series.
So are, I think, the what are they calling themselves? The Crime Alley Kids, or whatever the hell they call themselves.
I keep calling it Team Batman.
Yeah, but he's got a whole.
It's like a CW show. It's like Team Batman.
Bruce and the homies.
Yeah, Bruce and the Crime Alley homies back there. I think they're all good.
I did love when I think it was Nigma says that that this is insane, and he's like, you wanted it on Batman. This is Batman.
Breaks the table.
Oh my!
Please animate that somebody.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, I'm telling you what. I'm telling you, this is the best look at the back of his costume we've got it in the entire thing. I mean, he's hunched over. He looks massive. That's why Bane is so incredible, though, because Batman looks massive in every issue. Batman looks huge in this until you see Bane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
I
love it.
Almost feels like that's what this character designed to begin with was all leading up to. It's we got a huge Batman, but he's still going to meet his match with Bane eventually. Mm-hmm. So,
yep.
It might be fun if Bane becomes his main enemy in Absolute, and Joker's always just a background guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be neat just because the size difference. And
I do want to pay off with Joker, though, because you're going to slow burn Joker this much. I do want there to be some sort of massive payoff to that.
I'm getting kind of worried
Bane
that they won't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Chris. No, go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
I was just saying, I'm wondering if because we've got a really cool Freeze, we had a cool Black Mask, I guess. We're having a really cool Bane. What if the Joker doesn't live up to expectations now?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a blob in a chair. You know what I mean?
Chair, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, so basically the way that I see it is that Bane is, and this can all change in 2 issues if Batman kills him, but this is a pretty big intro. It feels like Bane's going to be the big physical enemy of this one, the one that Bruce actually fights and stuff, whereas Joker is going to be more just the sort of overarching mind of it all. He's not going to have a fist fight with Joker in this blob, or who knows? Ooh, I'm thinking of things now. Okay, so we have all these diseases and research and things that I was talking about. What if all of this Arkham, all of these black sites that could be for researching this stuff, what if all of it is just to try to find a cure to whatever the hell's going on with Joker right now?
That's what
because we don't know what it is. Yeah.
See, and we do see him in a photograph, and he's healthy, or I think he's healthy.
Oh, a recent photo?
No, it's that. I don't know if you guys want to skip it. It's the photo with him and Deathstroke.
Oh, okay. Oh, in this issue. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I I like the idea though that it's Joker unleashing all the sickness onto Gotham because that seems more of a Joker thing to do. And
Mhm.
Freeze was like a little vindictive, like I want everyone to feel the frost.
Mhm.
And Bane certainly doesn't seem hesitant to inflict pain. So I wonder if it's almost like this perverted fight club of like, let's get everyone down in this filth.
Down with the sickness.
Ooh, wah!
There you go.
Chris,
That's
Chris, I also love how you, Chris. I love how you keep calling it a film, an episode. You call it
was
everything
catching
but
that
a
too.
comic.
uh, you know,
This is a Wendy's.
this, you know, I I have learned that when you just start doing that, you just go with it, so it doesn't like you're not correcting yourself constantly, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But like it's so. I'm trying to point out though that this is such a cinematic comic book.
yeah,
It,
for
it
sure.
really it really flows like you're
That's
watching
rare for a
it.
comic too to have that cinematic quality because I think you really have to have a great synergy between the writer and the artist, and
Uh-huh.
Dragata and Snyder really seem to have that going.
And you
Yeah,
have to have a story that feels big enough, right?
Yeah.
That
right.
feels big enough that it could be on a screen.
Mm-hmm. This does.
Yeah,
And I feel like this is the payoff. I feel like this is the payoff for some of those issues that were like, I don't really know what they're doing with the art. Some of it's not popping. We've had a few issues where some of the art worked for us and some of it didn't. I think this is it finally developing into its perfect synergy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, and I think that's why I think it's my favorite issue. Um, my favorite issue of this comic.
there you go.
That was a good episode of the TV series.
It'd be fantastic. I would if Scott Snyder, if you're listening, call Netflix. Because apparently, if we want something, we can just call Netflix.
Mhm.
Um, Netflix will save us. But yeah, I would love to watch an animated show of this. Like, oh my god, you have no idea.
Yeah, for sure. So there is one thing I want that I was a little confused about when I read it. Maybe you guys can provide some clarification for me. That scene that we see of Waylon when he shows up while Bruce is with Selena in the bed, that was a flashback, correct?
Yes, but
Is
it
that
took.
Selena? Is that confirmed it's Selena?
He says Selena.
Oh, he
Yeah,
does. Okay. I guess
Yeah.
I missed that.
Okay. Yeah, because there was that, and there's the part where Waylon punches Bruce's hand and he like notices like that, like, oh, that was a little stronger than I thought. And that was where I was confused a little bit because we know what's happening to Waylon is that he's going to get injected with that stuff that's going to ultimately unlock his sort of metahumanness. So I didn't know if it was a thing where, like, yeah, they injected him with it and then just dropped him back on the street. And he's like, oh, I don't know what the hell just happened. Like, I was a little confused by that because it wasn't clarified too well. But
I took it as a flashback
Yeah.
because if you notice that everything is brighter in
yes,
those
that too.
panels.
That too. Yeah.
And then it cuts directly to him going into what we're calling the underworld of Arkham.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why I was like, is this
Yeah.
like a flash forward sort of thing? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I got the
Oddly
issue.
placed.
So when we do this, I have the issue open on my phone and I'm flipping to what we're talking about. So, and it really does just like it seems like it's just put in there like a force, like a like almost like they slammed it in there. There needs to be a comma or something like
Yeah, I
that
just didn't see
splices
the
it.
point. I didn't see the point of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I,
Chris, you could see it there. That one shot that they show of
yeah.
like Bruce catching his hand. It's like weird that they would just I don't know throw them.
As a writer, my guess is they knew they needed to get that one part of it in there. They needed that emotional setup or that core memory to be set up in there, and they didn't do that earlier in there, so they didn't want to get lost in the exposition. So they just kind of placed it in there. I think a lot of times when we're writing, we go, you know what? It's not going to be perfect. We got to get it in there. And I think
Yeah,
that's kind of what they did there because I do think it is a little out of place. I think it would have been more. It would have made more sense if he was thinking about that when he got them running out of ambulances. You know,
Yeah.
when he's picking a fight with everybody he can, and that would explain the why he's picking a fight with everyone he can. But I think if I have one complaint about this comic book series, it's that I think it wants you to pull so much from the previous issues while you're reading the current issue that sometimes it hits harder on a reread than it does on a current read,
That's fair.
on like a first read. So
I'm personally a big fan of that. Like, I like the things that kind of reward the reader in that way. It's like you got to be following along every time.
yeah.
But I understand you, Chris. I mean, we got a month between these, so it's like it's tough when you got to go back and read the last one every time you're reading the new one.
Well, that's the thing. I'll forget a detail or two, and then I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think it's good that we have a month in between because you don't want to oversaturate this.
No, for sure.
I would be happy if they were bi-monthly with this.
Oh, you bite your tongue. No way. Well, if they were bi-monthly and double sized, that'd be cool. But
that would be
yeah.
All right, a couple other things from this issue I feel like we should talk about. We'll save the Arkham like ending for the last bit. But what the hell, like that bit that Alfred, when he's having that like inner monologue at the end while Bruce is like infiltrating, what the hell was that? Like, why did he just not tell Bruce about any of this stuff?
Well, I didn't know what he knew about. I didn't know if he knew about Bane or that Bane was there and that there's nothing that he can prepare him for, or if he knew about Arkham and what he was walking into.
He says it. He says when he went to the SIS in England, which is the other black site, he learned about all this. He learned about how they all connect together and how they're all basically spurred out of this one in Gotham. Like, I don't know if he couldn't tell him. Bruce was talking to him. You know, he was asking questions. Maybe he just couldn't answer them because he was inside of the facility or something. I don't know.
I think maybe he didn't tell Bruce because he knew nothing was going to stop Bruce anyway. You know, Bruce is on a mission. He's already doing what he's doing. Nothing I tell him is going to slow him down or speed him up. It is what it is. And I would also think he didn't know Bane was going to be waiting for him. You know, I think that was a surprise. It was probably just, oh, he'll go find what I already know, probably report back, and then we'll, you know, have a beer about it and go to sleep.
Fair.
Yeah, you're definitely going to sleep after discovering that entire sprawling world.
I mean, if he would have given him the photograph of like Slade and the Joker, what was Bruce going to do with it?
At least maybe let him know what he's walking into, though. You know what I mean? Like, if he had an idea, like, I don't know. Again, I'm just going to chalk it up to. I'll just chalk it up to like he couldn't actually respond to him because he was inside the facility or something. But it was weird. And I'll tell you this much: I grow less of a fan of the Alfred in this book by the month. I really do. He's a horrible dad. Like, he's cool. Don't get me wrong. He's like a cool, like, secret agent guy. It's a interesting take on Alfred, but he's just, I don't know. It seems like he drops the ball far more often than he doesn't.
He's got a weird hold on the story in the sense of he's very involved sometimes, and then he's very not involved.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't immersed himself in pretty much anything to 100%. It's like he's playing outside contain, and he's got to keep one arm open.
You know what he is? He's like the narrator almost of the story.
Yeah,
this might be
a little bit.
I don't think Alfred is needed in this story, and I feel like Alfred is there because we need Alfred to be part of the Batman mythology.
Yeah, honestly,
I like this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't.
I liked him earlier. I like what Ron said it and how he said it. I like him less as the issues go on. I think he's less story needed as the issues go on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially because Bruce, like, part of Alfred's purpose is Bruce has no one.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the case here. So it's a different dynamic. I like this Alfred though. But yeah, I don't know if we really need him. All things said.
And he's not a great guy. You know, there's not a lot about the character. Like, he's cool, but he's not a character that I find to be very personally endearing. Like, there's nothing that draws me to him. You know what I mean? Outside of that, it feels a lot of times like he's just the narrator of the story. You know, how many times do we see 2-3 pages in a row that are just his text bubbles over shit that Bruce is doing? You know what I mean?
I do wonder if that's going to change, though, after Bane beats the living shit out of Bruce.
Yeah.
Is it possible?
His daughter too, so I don't know.
Is it possible that they're setting Alfred up to maybe die? Maybe Bane kills Alfred, and then those thought bubbles become Bruce's narration. Just because I'm thinking if we're talking about him in the sense that maybe he's not that needed, maybe the writers maybe Scott Snyder's going to agree with us. Maybe he's working on that right now, and he's like, I really like what I did in the first few issues with him, but it's just not there anymore. And I could see that because this Batman is very motivated by the people in his life. Mm-hmm. This Batman specifically really seems to care about his friends, and that seems to be his motivation. It's not necessarily the motivation of I have to stop criminals because my parents died in an alley and the pearls dropped on the ground, and we're dealing with a different Bruce. We're dealing with a different circumstance, and I think he's very in these issues. He's very into helping his friends and protecting them from bad things happening.
I don't know if he's connected to Alfred enough for that to matter. Like let's say they do kill off Alfred. I'm not sure anyone's going to shed a tear for this Alfred yet because we don't really know him.
Right.
The only thing I can think of is that it would bring Barbara back into the story because he had her shipped off on the jet, 2-3 issues ago or whatever.
You mean Julia?
Julia, excuse me. Yeah, Julia. So yeah, I said Barbara. I was thinking Gordon. But yeah, it could be a good way to reincorporate her. But besides from that, yeah, I kind of struggle to see where this Alfred's going short of, maybe he does just sacrifice himself somewhere. So we'll see.
They did introduce Julia in. I thought that was a little odd. So maybe Julia ends up being more of the character later on.
Yeah.
Because why set up the character at all? Because it did kind of just make Alfred look bad.
That's all it did. Literally all it did. And it gave them an excuse to write him out for an issue. That was it.
I think Scott Snyder's great with playing the long game, though. So I want to believe there's a purpose for the way that this has gone so far.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Maybe Julia is the payoff of the whole Alfred storyline.
Yeah. Like maybe she takes over the narration from him.
Well, and
to be the narrator.
Yeah. like Bob Saget for How I Met Your Mother.
But she's actually still just in like Europe or wherever she flew off to. So the whole thing just becomes her narrating her own life. It'd be great.
My dad's partner. Sort of partner.
My dad's weird little protege.
Yeah. I met my dad's protege who wears a bat costume.
Yeah. She's got a kink for it.
Oh my God. No, yeah, we did a pretty good job of covering this, boys. The only other thing we got to really talk about is the ending, because what's the skeleton? What the hell is going on in Arkham?
Well, that looked weird because it almost looked like a bat skeleton for a second. Like, I was
thinking man bat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I think it's a reference to Barbados. Is that the character's name from Return of Bruce Wayne?
Got me there, brother.
It's the Bat God.
Okay.
I want to say it was also in the recent Detective Comics run from what's his name?
I love that guy. He's awesome.
He is awesome, but I can't think of his name. He did The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. Anyway, that dude. He also, I think, used Barbados as a thing. But Barbados was part of the Return of Bruce Wayne. I wonder if that's a connection that Snyder's making, or it could just be Man Bat. I don't know.
Could be. Again, maybe
it's either way.
What is interesting is it's almost like they bury everything that they were going for, because once he starts fighting Bane, the skeleton, all that stuff is not important, and then it goes to kind of like a red background, almost like And I like the red background for two reasons. One, it makes me think Batman the Animated Series. Two, and it's just a tangential benefit. And two, the thing is, it's like Bruce is consumed by rage at this point. Like his surroundings, like have gone away. So I think it's story-wise, it's telling me that Bane is going to be this all-consuming problem, at least for now.
And it's also you see a lot of that red coloring in the beginning with Bane too in the first scene. I think that's very much representative of like when Bane shows up, things are going to turn a little more red. I also think the fact of like everything else in this issue besides that was so dark and blue and black and like very intense contrast. Yeah,
I see the red big danger.
Yeah. That too. Yeah. At its core,
and I love how you said, anger and rage, because I think Bane could care less. Bane is like calm as a cucumber here, to use a cliche. I really think that this Bane just brings out the worst in Batman, which is a really interesting idea. A character that just makes you the worst version of yourself is definitely something that's relatable to life. I mean, we all have people that just put us in a state where we're just little jerks. We can't deal with them.
Yeah.
So,
especially when you already got stuff going on, which is very much what Bruce is kind of dealing with right now. So this is going to be the match that lights the powder keg, as it were.
Wait till Wayland tries to bite him.
Yeah.
I have your scent, Batman.
And it's game over. Green lights, not red lights.
Oh my goodness. I am excited about getting some Killer Croc. What's the one thing you're excited about moving forward, other than maybe Bane? Because I feel like we've hit the Bane thing pretty hard. We'll start with you, Ron.
No, Evans, why don't you? I went first last time. Why don't you kick us off here? I don't want to take the good ones. Like I took all the good ones on him last time. So I want to.
So now I know how Jordan feels, because he's like trying to direct traffic. You're like, why did you just, All right, Mr. Evans.
Just always go opposite, bro. Whoever you threw it to first last time, do the opposite. That's what I do.
Hey, you know what I'm really just doing? I'm just going where the conversation goes, because I've noticed when I try to like structure it, we just kind of go off on like a specific thing, and then all the flow goes away. So anyway,
tangents are the spice of life. But I think for me, I know I said, what if he doesn't live up to expectations? I want to see what the hell the Joker's doing, because he usually doesn't hang back for this long, and we still know nothing really about him.
Yep.
So he's what I'm most excited to see. What is the plan here? What's going on? And I really want to see more of this Arc M thing, because it's not what I expected. I was expecting the Hive. I was just expecting like, okay, they have more cells underneath and they're probably grosser or something.
Yeah.
Like the conditions are just terrible.
I want to see how low it goes.
Yeah.
It feels very much like the Matrix almost. Like it's like just more than you could fathom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, man, we already saw the first domino fall of Bruce's friends in Wayland. He got captured. He's probably going to become the version of him that we know very well. I think we're going to start seeing that same thing happen to the rest of the crime alley kids along the way. I think he's going to start losing more and more friends along the way. We've already started to set that up a little bit with all these flashback scenes of them and Bruce pushing them away and stuff. And eventually he's going to be left alone. And what I'm most excited to see is when he's alone and all of his friends are villains and the Joker's doing all this stuff in these black sites, and who is he going to turn to? Is there going to be a Bat family in this absolute universe? Is it going to be Alfred? I sure hope not, because he's proven to be pretty unreliable. So who is going to be the one that has Bruce's back in the grand scheme of things when we get to issue 18, issue 19, issue 20, when shit for the whole arc of this thing starts hitting the fan once and for all?
I had a thought just now when you were saying that, Ron. What if, because we've seen that Secret Agent Alfred thing kind of before. What if Alfred just gets so injured he's not in the field anymore? And that's how he forms the bond with Bruce.
And he becomes the Alfred that we
Right. Yeah. What if you got to break the Alfred instead
So
of
he's
break the Alfred? Yeah.
break the Alfred.
So basically, he's splits the difference between Alfred and Oracle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And dude, they love the remixing and doing stuff like that and these absolutes.
Yeah.
That would be Chris, if they do that, one, it's a great call, and two, you get the credit.
Well, I mean, you already mixed it up together pretty well with Barbara Prettyworth.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, exactly. Planted the seed. Okay, the number one thing I want to see is where this D. Grayson is in the story, or if that was just a throwaway fan service moment. I'd love to see.
I don't think it was.
So. I think everything is intentional.
You're right. I that is the payoff that I'm looking forward to the most as a big Dick Grayson fan. Outside of Batman, to me the Bat family is very centered around Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon, and I think, God, I would love to see Dick Grayson. That would be awesome, and I'd love to see what this Dick Grayson would be like. It almost scares me.
There's truly no bigger Dick guy than you, so I am excited. You said it before, and it was too good.
Dude, all right.
Absolute Dick number one.
Can I ask you how the hell Dick became the nickname for Richard? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I never understood that either.
Me either.
As a guy who's really into the origin of words, like I'm an English major guy, like I'm gonna be an English teacher, really into the origins of words. I can never understand that. But what I really can't get is as time has gone on, yeah, just call me Dick. Yeah, that's fine. What? All right.
There's the I and the C is the only commonality between the two. I don't get it. I don't.
Well,
it's kind of like sound as cool.
Yeah.
That
sounds like the spoiled little kid you grew up with that like always got the best Christmas presents and was just like a total asshole. That's Richie Grayson.
That's the kid, Jason. That's the kid the Joker murders.
Yeah. Oh God. Jesus. All right. And with that, wonderful little tangent about Dick and Richard. You can follow our spicy page. All right,
you can say that on air. ODs.
Oh my goodness. So here's the deal. You can follow us at Supes and Sabers. Pretty much every platform we're on at Supes and Sabers. You can follow me at Multiversal Omni, at Footballman 58 as well, for my other stuff. And Mr. Evans, tell us about what you got going on.
So I've got my bi-weekly podcast at Gathering of the Geeks. That's G of the Geeks on Twitter. We just do a weekly or bi-weekly live show. We kind of go over everything we've watched, read, all that fun stuff. I have my DC podcast called DC Unlimited. You can find that at DC Unlimited Pod on Twitter. And you can follow just me directly at thatChris70 on Twitter. I do a bunch of different shit. You'll find it there.
Hell yeah.
Nice. All right. Ron, you want to plug anything or are you good?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I guess I can kind of just let the people know a little bit about what we got going on here. You guys have what? All-Star Superman that's going to be coming out here this week?
We have All-Star Superman already came out. We're about to record Superman for all seasons.
For all seasons. Okay.
Yes.
That was
we are going to have a build your own Superman movie by taking all the live action Superman stuff. You're going to pick your Lana Lang, you're going to pick your Lois Lane, you're going to pick your Lex Luthor. And we're going to have Anthony from Digging for Kryptonite on for that show. That is scheduled, and we're really excited about that one. And then we got Fantastic Fridays to go along with our Superman Sundays. So I was just saying, hey, but Ron, do you want to like plug at Jedi Ganassi or?
Oh, I'm
anything
going.
like
Don't
that?
you worry. I got all that. I just, don't worry. Yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
You mentioned Fantastic Four. We got a lot of fun Fantastic Four coming out.
Yeah.
Jordan and Jack just watched Fan Four Stick, the abomination that was.
Those poor souls.
I believe they ripped on it for about 90 minutes. I don't know how they did it, but I can't wait to watch it personally. So definitely check that one out.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to be reviewing Fantastic Four Life Story coming up here. The sort of 6-issue mini comic run to get hyped for the movie. What else are we doing? I think we're going to try to fit in a little discussion of the old movies, the 2005 ones. Maybe talk about how they're going to fit into the whole Secret Wars doomsday of this all. So we got a lot of stuff, man. We're gearing up towards this the super fantastic summer, as it were, which I'm already sick of saying, but you have to say it. We got a lot of fun shit coming up, so stay tuned.
Yeah,
and follow me at Jedi Ganassi.
There it is. There it is. There it is. All I was asking for. Literally, the only thing I was asking for. I was literally going to do all that stuff. But literally,
you asked me to plug. You didn't say give my socials.
You didn't give him, what to play. You still unplug stuff.
All
right, take us home. Take us home.
I can't with you. All right, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to Supes and Sabers, absolute Batman coverage. We absolutely love you. And remember, Bane will be your reckoning.